Hey Jay, what's up? How's it going? 정찬호님? 이지수님? 성민님? Irene? yo, what's up? How's it going? Half Moon님? Half Moon님, did you find a way to take care of that volume problem you were having before? Did you figure it out? Half Moon님? Did you figure out the volume problem? 회기님, I think it's 회기님. Yes, nice to see you. Hey, what's up? What is up? It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, good evening. Hi. What'd you have for dinner? What did you have for 장주민님, 슈님, 눈놀이님, 루시님, 따라쟁이님, 따라쟁이님. I remember you. It's been a while. 야나님, 예리님, Cheese, what's up? No, you still haven't figured it out? Okay. I'm really curious what the problem is. No, it's... It would be very weird for me not to remember that because she had been having that problem for quite some time. And I understand her frustration. It must have been really frustrating for her. Yeah. It's a shame, though. It's a shame that you haven't been able to figure it out. Oh, this is your first time tuning into the stream. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. Glad to have you with us. Those of you who are a part of our Discord community, I have created a voice channel, LA_ September 22nd. That's today. So feel free to send me a voice message. Whatever you want. You can ask me a question, whatever you want. Celine님, Dodo님. You need my mic? I have a few mics rolling around. You name. Hey. That was completely unnecessary for you to do, but thanks. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the support, Yunim. What a surprise. How's everybody doing? Hi. Hello, Irene. How you doing? Nice name. Hi, everybody. Just got back from work. You just got back from work. Okay. So you work on Sundays as well? It's been a while. How have you been? Good Sunday evening. Yeah. What are you guys doing? I'm kind of curious because this is a very rare occasion as far as our streams go because we almost never stream on Sundays, especially at this hour. I'm assuming that many of you are actually having dinner right now, or actually those who are having dinner right now are probably not tuning to the stream right now, but I'm just curious. Yeah, spent some time with my family. Pretty much spent all day yesterday and today. I was out for most of the day today with my family. My family meaning my wife and my dogs. Yeah, we had a really great time. And as a way to kind of practice your English, I would love it if you asked me about my day.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Ian? Thanks for the voice chat. Appreciate it. Good to hear your voice. How you doing? Oh, you're working now? I spent the whole Chuseok holidays in Bali, Indonesia? You mean Bali, right? 딸과 저희 생일 파티였네요. 쌤 생일 축하. Oh, 딸과 저희 생일이라 생일 파티였네요. It's wait. So it's you share the same birth date with your daughter? Seriously? Wow, that's I don't think I've heard anything like that before. But okay, it's hey, happy birthday! Happy birthday! Yeah, it's nice to see everybody. I just came back to Korea earlier in the morning. I hope you had a great holiday. Yeah, I didn't really do anything much though. But so how's your trip? How's Bali? This is my 100th time joining a live stream. This is your 100th time? you've been keeping count? You've been keeping count of the number of streams that we've been doing? I don't feel like I've streamed 100 times. Have I streamed that many times? This is my first time joining. 너무 얘기 주고 싶었다고 방송 중에 얘기했어요. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So you mean the very first time you tuned into the stream? Hi, teacher. You sound like you've become familiar with your fake teeth. Actually, not really. I'm just... I don't feel completely comfortable with my fake teeth. I still have these moments where I kind of fumble with my pronunciation. Not that I never fumble with my real teeth, but I fumble a lot more with my pronunciation with my fake teeth. And I figured the best way to practice is to just actually, just use them on a daily basis. And so I decided to, do these streams as often as I can, as often as I can. So how's everybody doing today? How's your weekends? Oh, you have a really bad canker sore. Sorry to hear that. I am very sorry to hear that. There's really no way to get rid of that, right? Or to speed the process along. There's really no way to do that, right? I just had dinner. I had some fish cakes. I had some fish cakes that I picked up on the streets on my way back. I spent pretty much the entire day with my family in Chongno. We were out there, just visiting places, just hanging out because it was beautiful today. It was just so nice out today. And in fact, yesterday we had spent pretty much the entire day outside. So my wife and I were actually really tired. And we were actually planning on staying home. I remember we actually said, hey, let's just, stay in all day tomorrow, which was today. But then we got up this morning. It was just so nice outside. We had to go out. And so, yeah. I think today was it's like one of the best weathers that you can really hope for all year round. It's really hard to expect any weather better than this all year round. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can...
Did you celebrate your birthday yesterday?
Well, not in a very obvious way. I just spent some time with my family. That's all. We didn't do anything special. Like I didn't even have a cake. I didn't even there were no gifts. Although, yeah, I guess you could. I mean, not in the traditional sense of a birthday party, but I just spent time with my family. So, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it was really nice. My Korean has gotten better over the years? Really? Wow, I never really thought of that. I guess it makes sense. Hi, Sam. 저 기억하실지 홍영님. Yeah, a few days ago. You were here like a few days ago, right? 그래서 영어 댓글 달 때까지 수업. All right, that was you. Yeah, okay. Try to say that in English. It doesn't have to be perfect, remember? But I really don't want to disappoint anybody here, but like realistically speaking, we're only going to get this kind of weather for like a week at most, right? Don't you think so? Oh, thank you, Nini. I suppose I'm going to hit that mark sooner or later. But 핸드폰을 영어로, 태블릿은 스페인어로 언어 설정해놨습니다. 차차 적용하고 있네요. Okay, yeah. All right, good. I mean, that's just one of many things that you can actually do to help yourself become more familiar with English. Okay. I see what you mean. So not exactly 100 times, yeah, because I'm actually kind of curious how many times I've streamed. My Korean is much better than yours? I doubt it. I highly doubt that. 선생님 정원의 뽑았는데. Oh, okay. So you did some gardening, huh? Okay. Yeah, it would have been a nice day out to be out there gardening. You were born in such a nice season. Yeah, I guess so. I usually study English mainly with your YouTube and your book. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. Oh, hey, glad I can help. I'm glad my content is helping you. That's always good to hear. 네, 그걸 알아서 죽을 아이들을 열심히도 뽑았네요. I did that for nothing. Oh, you mean since winter is coming. Oh, okay. Hey, 우준이, what's up? It's been a while. What is the funny expression to say I have dated with my boyfriend during the day? A funny expression? You're asking for a funny way to say that you spent the day with your boyfriend. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Is there a fun way to say that? Interesting expression? I honestly don't know. I would just say I spent the day with my boyfriend. That's what I would say. I would just say that. I would just say I spent the day with my boyfriend. I spent all day with my boyfriend. Yeah. I honestly can't think of any more interesting way to say that. Can anybody else think of a more interesting way to say that, actually? Is there a more interesting way to say that? As of today, fall has begun. I don't really know in terms of like the calendar, but it sure feels like fall. Although I don't know if you were out today like during the day in the sun, but it was actually kind of hot. It was actually pretty warm out there. My family and I went to our hometown to visit our ancestors' graves today. Oh, today. That was today. Well, that must have been nice. I mean, anything that you do out in this kind of weather, it would be nice. Even if you're like working or something. I watched a video of singer Yoon Shin yesterday and was shocked. She is very old, 73-year-old, but really surprising and awesome. She makes me courage. She gives you courage. Okay. I guess, there are people who really outperform in a lot of areas, is even beyond their prime years. Some people do that. 73. That reminds me of something that I read earlier today. Not really sure. I could feel autumn has come as I can't stop sneezing from yesterday. Is that some kind of allergy that you have? I think fall is around the corner. The weather is so cool. I mean, officially, the fall began a couple weeks ago, didn't it? I mean, it should have gotten a lot cooler a lot sooner than it is, right? Charukani, you're lucky. Well, it's just, it's just a number. Yeah, you're right. How crazy would it be if I actually hit 1 million during a stream? That would be kind of crazy, huh? I started reading English books recently. So the way you should say that is I started something recently and I've been doing something lately. I mean, there's no trouble understanding this. You mixing these up. You can say you can just say this. You can just say I started reading English books lately. That's fine. Everybody's going to understand what you're saying. But just to be clear, this is just a slightly more. It just sounds a little better. To speak English well, which is better in writing, listening, repeating? To speak English well, which is better in writing, listening, reading, and repeating? If you want to speak English well, you got to speak. You can't replace speaking with anything else and expect your speaking to improve. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's like really obvious. That's really simple. And you shouldn't have to have someone else tell you that. That's something you already know. But you know what? It's true that a lot of people look for a solution like that. A lot of people look for a solution where they don't have to actually put in the real work and expect themselves to improve. That's true. When did this start? I don't know. I think about it's been 15 minutes or so? Hi, I'm watching video while I have 탕수육 짜장면. I haven't had that combo in a long time. It's been 3 days since I started working out, and everyone who worked there are too perfect, which makes me feel. You mean everyone who is working out there are too perfect? What do you mean too perfect? Like they're really fit? They're really toned? Is that what you mean? So you feel kind of, well, not, I guess what you're feeling is not pressure, but you kind of feel like you feel a lot more out of shape than you really are, because you're surrounded by so many people who are super fit, right? It's okay. I think, as I always say, it's always better to improve rather than already being perfect. It's kind of like your English. It doesn't really matter how well or how bad your English is now. What's important is how much you can improve. So, you know what? You should be glad that you actually have the opportunity to impress others by changing, by improving. That's always more impressive than just always looking good and always being fit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Hey, Zishoni, what's up? Yeah, it's so happy that I can spend time with you guys. Can I ask something real quick? What kind of keyboard do you have? I really like the sound answer. The keyboard that I'm using now is what's this called? It's called the low free flow. The keyboard that I'm using today, which is different from the keyboard that I was using, I think, in my last stream, I'm using the low free flow. I don't always use the same keyboard. I mix it up. I switch them up. What is priority to speak English well in writing or repeating? I want to be fluent. What is priority to speak English well? Oh, look, I'm going to give you the same answer. If you want to be better at speaking, you got to speak. Like I said, you can't replace that with anything else. Or maybe this message was before I gave that answer. I have watched a movie named Wonder. It is based on true story. It gave me warm and pleasant. Oh, okay. Wonder. All right. Is that like a recent movie that came out? I actually saw a movie yesterday. It was an old movie. I think it's a movie back from 2008. I don't know why. I was just browsing through. I don't even know where I found it. I may have. I think it was Netflix, but it was called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I think. Has anybody seen that movie? I'm not even exactly sure if that title is correct. It's something like that. The boy in the striped pajamas or something, and it was sad. It was sad because it was about the Holocaust. I'm guessing they're trying to promote that movie because of another very recent movie that came out called shit, I forget the title. What was the title? The one that came out recently about the Holocaust? Can't remember the title. I've been eating a lot lately, so I've got some more fat. Not I've got some more fat. I've been gaining some weight. You say I've been gaining some weight. No, not Schindler's. Oh, right, Zone of Interest, not John of Interest. Zone of Interest. Right, you're right. Zone of Interest is a movie about the Holocaust that came out quite recently. And I guess as a way to promote that movie, they kind of they're promoting a movie that came out almost 20 years ago. That's kind of similar in a way, not quite the same, obviously, but it just came up on my feed, and it looked kind of interesting. What I was really impressed by the movie, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, was the boy's acting. The main character. I guess you could say there are several main characters in that movie, but it's mainly focused on this boy, a very young boy. In the movie, the boy is portrayed as an 8-year-old boy, and that child actor, his acting was really good. I was really impressed. I don't normally really enjoy movies where the main characters are children, but in this case, it was very different. I was thoroughly impressed. It was just really good. The boy's acting was superb, just really good. I was really impressed. 아침 라이브 계속 주셔서 스파는데 드디어 수업에 참여. Hey, Mango Mommy. It's good to have you here. I just got back from a walk. That sounds great. It's a really nice day to be out for a walk, right? It was my first time in a while, and the weather is cool today. Yeah. Although, if you were out there in the sun, it would have been quite warm. But just the humidity is just suddenly completely gone, right? Up until a few days ago, it was like so humid. I was thinking, oh my God, when is this going to end? But then today, all of a sudden, the humidity is just gone. It was really nice today. I just get a new English expression that picked up when the weather was getting heavy snowing in drama I was watching, and the character in the drama says, this really picked up. Yeah. They say that a lot. Like when the intensity of something increases, they often say it picks up. Like the speed can pick up, the speed and intensity at which something is happening. When it becomes greater, then they often say that it's picking up, or it picked up. Hey Jack, how's it going, man? How you doing? They do their job so well that it's almost perfect. 오늘 운동 중에 가나에서 온 두 형제를 만났는데 짧지만 그래도 용기 내서 영어로 이야기해봤어요. 심장 터지는 줄요. Yes. And there is absolutely no way to just get rid of that fear. You have to experience that firsthand, and you have to just overcome it through experience. There's really no other way around it. A lot of people look for a way, some method to just get rid of that fear and just skip it, right? But that's part of the learning process. And so there's absolutely no way you can just get rid of that and skip that process. You just have to get through it, pretty much. Oh, right. Yes. Korea. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Boy in the Pajamas is about it's about the Holocaust. Yeah, Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I think that's the title. Or at least that was the title. That was the Korean title. I don't know if it's the same title in English, because it showed up on my feed in the Korean version, I think. So it's okay. You can joke about it. It's all right. It's just a movie, and if you make a joke, it's just a joke. It's all right. I have just finished dinner. Did you have dinner? Yes, I did. I had kind of a late lunch. I had lunch around 2 or 2:30 in Jongno. And on our way back, I was out there with my wife and my dogs. And on our way back, we hit a rest stop because I was feeling so sleepy during the drive because there was a huge traffic jam. We ran into a really bad traffic jam, and I was getting really drowsy, and I was actually having a hard time, staying awake. And so I thought, oh, look, there's a rest stop over there, and we hit the rest stop, and I picked up some fish cakes. and also some some other snacks, and I just had some of that. That's right. Yes, they're not actually pajamas. It's referring to the prisoner uniforms that they wore in those in those camps. Yeah, North Korea's at it again. North Korea's at it again. Did everybody get that message? Hey, Pidiane, it's been a while, man. How have you been? You're heading home? Hey, what's up? Have a safe trip back home. I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Hannah? What are we doing today? Well, I just wanted to see what everybody was doing. We're just chatting here. We're just chatting. I just wanted to see what everybody was doing. And, as a way for you to practice your English, I would like you to maybe just ask me about my day or whatever you want. I used to like watching movies a lot, but as I get older, I have gradually lost interest in movies. And that's fine. To be more specific, I've lost interest in fictional stories. I wonder why. Maybe you're just more interested in what's real. No, I totally understand that. I find myself moving in that direction as well. I tend to kind of, I'm not as fascinated as I used to be with fictional movies. And for sure, yeah, me too. Although I still enjoy fictional stuff, but my British company talks to me about weekends all the time, but I still get nervous all the time. You're a British company? You work for a British company? Really? Okay. What the? Get through. Get through? Yeah. What message did you get? About North Korea sending over those trash balloons. I think. Yeah. Oh, that's just a Gyeonggi-do thing. Okay. All right. So it's I guess it was a message going out to people in Gyeonggi-do, in the Gyeonggi province. I assume from the title of the movie is about 히키코모리 소년. 히키코모리 소년? Oh, when you first heard the title, you assumed it was okay. Yeah, it wasn't. You love my t-shirt? Oh, this? This one? It's probably from H&M. I get most of my clothes from H&M. I get most of my clothes from either H&M or just online. Just yeah. Yeah, it's really annoying. It's like, although there's a part of me that's wondering why we can't do anything about this. Like, I mean, I'm not advocating for war, obviously, but I mean, is there really nothing we can do about this? Do we just have to sit here and just let them keep sending over those balloons? I mean, like, really, isn't there anything else we can do? Sam, you changed your phone. I changed my phone? How'd you know? Holy crap, how'd you know? I didn't even show it to you. You can tell? How can you tell? Man, those are some mad observational skills you got there. I've been offered a really great chance to talk over the phone with native English speaker, but I keep hesitating because I'm just too nervous to talk to a total stranger even in English. If you don't make that leap, if you don't take that step, you're going to regret it. You will, like 100% you're going to regret it. Should we need to send them a lot of farts? How do you do that? I've watched 댓글부대 on Netflix. It was quite interesting. I recommend this. Oh, okay. 댓글부대? I don't even know what that's about. What is it? Is that a documentary? Or just a movie? Like a series? I went to the English class this morning. English class. Man, can't even say that. I went to the English class this morning. It's a long time. I felt I need to go there often. Okay. So you went to English class this morning. Are you saying that you hadn't gone to the English class in quite some time? It was like the first time in a few months or something? There's a jazz festival in Suwon on the 27th. Really? And it's free for everyone. I meet you there. I want to share you a glass of wine. On the 27th. That's coming up real soon, in less than a week. Okay. I think I have something going on the 27th, actually. I think I may have a dentist appointment on the 27th. For some reason, that 27th date just sounds and feels so familiar. I think I may have a dentist appointment on that day. I don't know. I'll have to check. Which of the students you taught improved their English skills the fastest? Yikes. The wind is just blowing everything away. The students that improve their English skills the fastest are the ones who are the ones who don't approach learning English like it's a subject that you study. So they don't study the language, they just learn it. And they just use it. They don't care if it, and they really don't care about the mistakes they make. That's it. Those people learn the fastest. And what's more important is not about learning fast. It's about actually improving. The way I see it, most English learners should not worry about learning fast. That's later. That's something that you shouldn't be worrying about right now, because you know why? Most English learners don't even improve. Most English learners fail to even improve, and they're worrying about learning fast. Okay? In my throughout my entire career, like I've always said, I say this all the time, but throughout my entire career, when I like only 10% of English learners actually improve their English. Okay, just think about that. So your main concern should not be about learning quickly. It should be about, how do I actually improve? Okay? That should be your main concern. Actually improving. Please let me know how to get over Monday blue. Does anybody know? Oh, we started it? I didn't even know this. We started this. Huh. I had no idea. I didn't know we started it. Okay, so obviously we didn't send over trash, but they're sending over trash. Okay. I had no idea. You used your phone the other day during the stream and it had only 2 cameras left. Wow. Wow, you're really good at noticing things. And everybody's got such a good memory. It's been a tough week. I work at a convenience store and a drunken guy made me crazy. I'm really sorry to hear that. I really, I've actually, yeah. I mean, I've never been in your position, like, firsthand. I've never really experienced that firsthand, but I can imagine how horrible that would be. It's just one of those things, right? Oh, gosh. And there's really no way to actually effectively deal with those people. Drunk people are just so unpredictable, right? So what did you do? Did you just call the police or something? I just came back about 2 hours again from 2 days holidays. It was a girls' trip, only my daughters and me. It was great. Haha. Oh, all right. That's great. Sounds great. Spending time with your... do you often have those only girl trips? As a counterattack, South Korea sent out some K-pops towards North Korea. Oh, are they doing that? Okay. My iPad broke down, so I bought a Galaxy Tab. It's such a waste of money. What do you mean? Are you regretting your purchase, or are you saying that you feel like it wasn't really necessary for you to get another tablet? Or, I would love to hear more about that. I have personally never seen one in person. I hope I never do. And I hope none of you actually ever have to see one of those for yourselves. I actually went to the States as an exchange student and got back to Korea a few months ago. Oh, okay. And I gotta say, thanks to you, I managed to live there. Laugh out loud. Well, I mean, you gotta give yourself most of the credit as well. I mean, my learning material, my content is always out there. It's just a matter of whether you choose to use and consume the content and actually do something with it. That really counts, right? That's what really matters. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you found my content helpful. That's great. Start watching Marvel series. One of my favorite characters is Groot. Oh, it's a shame that he doesn't really have too much of a role throughout the series, right? I mean, he's just sort of there, supporting everybody, right? Sam, it's so weird. Why haven't I got the notification from YouTube when you see it started? I'm sure I had always gotten before you took some weeks off recently. I don't know. YouTube, YouTube is very inconsistent in terms of sending out notifications. Like some people who don't even have their notifications set to on, they get notifications before those who have their notifications set to on when they don't even get it. And so they're very inconsistent with that. And they've been known to be very inconsistent with the notifications. I mean, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. There's really no way of, yeah, I can't really explain. You hit the mark as always. 촌철살인이라는 표현을 you hit the mark? 촌철살인이 뭐예요? I don't even know what that is. Go to work on Sundays. Do you? Do you go to work on Sundays? There's no shortcut for improving English skill in the short term. Yeah, we can get into that, but I don't know. 금요일이라고 내를 속여봐요. Go to work on Sunday. Go to work on Sunday. Be so childish. Yeah, they're being childish, aren't they? Sam, I went to a concert yesterday. Yay! Yeah, which one? Whose concert? I'm trying to think if I've ever been to a concert in my entire life. What's your headphone? Where'd you get it? Oh, these? I got them from Amazon. Consequence. This one is actually easy. Consequence. It's just consequence. 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 This is one of the easier pronunciations. Another Monet. Do we have another Monet? Do we? Do we? I don't see one. I heard the news about the gunshot near my place, but you know what? I was even more shocked when I saw roach in the living room. Because that's the more immediate threat. Right? I mean, the gunshot happened probably several blocks away from your place, but the roach is in your room. That's the immediate threat. So what'd you do about it? Oh man, I remember like the most terrifying roach interaction that I had was back when I was in college. I was living by myself. Well, I was kind of living in my friend's place, but there was a cockroach the size of a lighter And it was so big that as it was walking on the wall, I could actually hear its legs slapping on the paper, on the wallpaper. Like, oh my God, it was like the most horrible thing. Oh, this Monet. I really started learning English after I decided to take the semester off. The good thing is I can watch English videos about my hobby. I feel like I can get a lot of information. Yeah, that's what everybody should be doing. Watch videos that you're interested in. Probably one of the best ways to learn English, actually. Roach, like a cockroach. Roach. Not really sure what a roach is in Korean. Did you have dinner? Yeah, kind of. Not really like a proper dinner, but I did have something. I had some fish cakes. I just got back from an hour-long walk. The weather is really nice now. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, all day today was really nice. By the way, the orange ear sponge looked like 꽃감 persimmons. Oh wait, 꽃감 is like dried persimmons, right? I heard some people order packages to arrive on Monday to help them get through Monday blues. Oh, that's actually a really good idea. And this kind of reminds me of something that we talked about a while back about having packages arrive like on a daily basis between Monday and Friday, just to give yourself something to what? What's the expression? Just to give you something to what? This is something that we actually mentioned in one of our streams a while back. We had something like this in one of our streams, right? I have packages delivered every weekday, just so I have something to look forward to throughout the week. It's bigger than your finger. Which finger? Bigger than your thumb? Yeah, sometimes I brainwash myself as if it's Thursday just to maintain the rest of the week. Just to get through the rest of the week. Well, I wouldn't really say that's brainwash, but I try to... get through the week. Day 6 concert. They are one of the K-pop band. Oh, okay. Day 6. So the group's name is Day 6. A sharp, witty comment. 촌철살인. Wow, I've never really heard of that one. 전 particularly 발음이 어려워요. 특히 particularly 이 부분. Particularly. That is a very difficult word to pronounce. Yes, for sure. Whenever you have R's and L's together in a single word, it's always really, really hard. And that's why I think for a lot of Korean people, one of the most difficult to pronounce words in the English language is actually girl. And it's so much so that I've even met an English teacher. The person was Korean. But I've actually worked, very long time ago, I worked with another Korean teacher who had a hard time pronouncing that word. She would always pronounce it like girl or something like that. And it always sounded really awkward. Yeah, it's hard. It's really, really hard. But I believe that everybody can actually pronounce it through practice. I met a girl who spent only 1 year in the UK as an exchange student during her college years, and her English was so fluent, almost perfect, and she even has outstanding British accent. It's probably one of those cases where she started off not as a beginner. When she first started, she probably already had a certain level of fluency, probably not as fluent as a native, but she probably had either that or sometimes there are just people who are just amazingly talented in terms of like learning another language. There aren't people like that. Of course, you can't you can't blame yourself for not being one of those people. That's ridiculous. I have to go every Sunday and Monday, but I can't go often. Oh, you mean to the English Academy? I hate cockroaches. Nobody likes cockroaches. Nobody likes cockroaches. Sometimes roaches fly in the living room and could see their eyes. Wow, you could see their eyes? You make eye contact with a cockroach? Yeah, I don't want to even imagine that. I went grocery shopping today and bought a bunch of fruits, okay? The thing is that I live alone, so I need to eat them all alone. Haha. Yeah, sometimes I really wish you could buy like small portions of fruit. I think they do. I guess it depends on really where you go, but usually at one of like those small grocery stores in your neighborhood, they usually sell them in smaller portions, don't they? Unless you go to like a big, like a discount mall or something. 호주에서 어학원 다니기 시작했는데 왕초보라 말하는 게 너무 어렵네요. You just gotta practice. Jay Freenim, one thing that I want to recommend that you do is when you're alone, just constantly speak. Constantly speak what's going through your mind. Like, so what I'm trying to say is just think out loud. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, explain every single thing that you're doing. Like, okay, right now, what am I doing? What is this? What is this? What am I doing? What is this called? When I'm using my hands as I speak, what am I doing? What am I doing? What is it called when you're using your hands as you're swimming in the air? This is gesturing. This is gesturing. So what I'm saying is every little thing you do, like you can describe yourself that you're blinking, you're breathing heavily, or you're sitting in an awkward position. You're sitting in a very bad posture. Just everything that you're doing, you're feeling, you're thinking. Just describe everything. That's one of the best ways to train yourself with spoken language. To just say everything that's going through your mind when you're alone, okay? So that will help you improve your it will keep you warmed up. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I started running last Sunday on big wheel. I started running last Sunday, but suddenly I felt some knee pain, so today I can't run outside. Yeah, you really gotta, for a lot of people, running is actually, it's actually very, it's actually not good for your knees, especially if you have bad knees and ankles too. Probably one of the best sport that you can enjoy and give yourself plenty of exercise while doing it is actually swimming. Although swimming is a real pain because you got to like carry around the clothes, you got to go there, take a shower, and you got to change into the swimsuit. And it's a real pain if you ask me, but it's probably one of the exercises that is least taxing on your joints and other things. As long as you're not like swimming really hard, You should make a fruit buddy living close by. I've never heard of fruit buddy. You can buy fruit and then split them with your fruit buddy. I mean, that would be great, and that's kind of cute, right? Yeah, taxing. Taxing. I think that's something worth remembering. Taxing. I think I said something like swimming is I said something like that. I really like the atmosphere here. This whole conversation with people instead reminds me of my childhood in 영어학원, feeling nostalgia. Oh, really? You guys would just get together and just talk about anything? It's my pleasure to keep up the good work. You can do it. At least taxing. What if I never alone? I'm in the military, so what if I never alone? You're never alone. Oh, what if you're never alone? Then find someone to practice it with. Find someone to, or at least go through it in your head. I'm not just making that up. That's actually an advice that a lot of people give. If you're in an environment where you can't actually practice out loud and you don't really spend much time by yourself, practice in your head. It actually works. Practice in your head. Do you guys know that walking requires more muscle movement and stimulates more brain cells than running, according to some neuroscientists? I did not know that. Fruit Buddy is actually so cute. I want to make one. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I used to have this really horrible neighbor who she was running a convenience store, and she would always bring half rotten fruit and give them to me. And I said, "Oh no, you don't have to give me this." And she would say, "Oh no, it's okay." Like the bananas were all black. And I guess I don't know, maybe I was just too kind. I don't know. I guess I don't know if she was doing that because she thought I would. I don't know. Yeah, it was just and I was just a sucker, and I just took those fruit and I threw them away. Some of them I ate, but most of them I just threw away. There's nothing to worry about. 지난주 공부하던 쌤 영상 중에 하신 말이었는데 계속 저 스스로에게 말해주고 있어요. There's nothing to worry about. Hello, 발꼬랑님. How you doing? I tried to learn swim several times because I want to overcome the fear of water. Okay. But like you said, you got to change to swimsuit, take shower, and do them again after swimming. It's just such a hassle. Swimming, and that's why I've never gone skiing. Have you ever gone? Do you guys like skiing? I've never gone skiing or snowboarding in my entire life. There's so much trouble involved. First of all, you got to make the long trip to wherever that you can go skiing, and you got all this equipment and all this clothes. My gosh. I think I heard the word from Mindhunter. It's a taxing lifestyle. Mentioning about being a serial killer. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Taxing. Yeah. Cheer me for Sunung. Oh, you're taking the test, the big test this year in November? Well, so what can we say to cheer him up? Kim Young-gwang-nim. I used to know a guy named Kim Young-gwang. I guess in every military base, there's always someone who once lived or studied abroad, I guess. Oh, is that so? I guess it's become that common, right? It's your first time tuning into the stream. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you with us.
I try to convince myself that it's Thursday just to get through the week.
That was YG, you guys. Food waste, buddy. I'm assuming what I felt from that neighbor was I guess she kind of wanted to pretend like she was doing us a favor. That's how she made it sound like. When she gave us those half-rotten fruit, she made it sound like she was doing us a favor by giving us fruit, like free food, right? And then at the same time, she was saving herself the trouble of having to throw them away. I think that was kind of what she was doing. And, I should have said something. I should have just not accepted them, or I should have just told her that I wasn't appreciating the half-rotten fruit, but she kept giving it. Although, like, she lived above me, and later on, we had some issues with like floor noise, and so we just kind of stopped talking after about a year living as neighbors, and then I just couldn't stand the floor noise anymore, and then I moved out of there, and I ended up here. But in the beginning, she would do that. It was yeah. 쌤 제목 영어회. What? Is it 영어회? Did I say 영어회? Yeah, you're right. That's so dumb. I don't know why I did that. Floor noise. Floor noise. Noisy neighbors. They were very noisy neighbors. Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't, just couldn't stand it. It seems that she was thinking those fruits are more sweeter. No, I think they were just, disguising it as a favor, but saving herself from the trouble of throwing them away. Whoops. Are you guys familiar with this? It is so stressful. In fact, my wife and I could not spend a lot of time during the day at home. We just couldn't. And so later, like a few months before we actually left that building, we spent most of the day out because we just couldn't stand the noise. Well, later on, they got a couple of dogs, and they could not control the dogs, and the dogs like barked all day, and they didn't even take them out for walks on a regular basis. So they were very bad pet owners, and because of those dogs, they started running around their house so much more often, and they were both very heavy people. They were like big people, and they were, I guess they were really heavy or something. I don't know. And I asked them to wear slippers one time, and they wouldn't. And so it just got really bad. Dogs barking all day, running around all day. Oh my gosh. It was just really bad. I was stressed out of my mind. Yeah. I knew every time they would take their dogs out, they would only take their dogs out when there was, like, one of the neighbors were out. And, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. It's just, oh my gosh. Well, when you don't give your dogs enough exercise, everything goes wrong. When you don't give your dogs proper exercise and the proper care, just everything goes wrong. That's what happened. You should have been more direct, saying that most of the fruits you bring are rotten. Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. And if I could go back in time, that's probably what I would do. But I guess I was just too stupid, and I just didn't do that. I just realized that I didn't go to the fitness center for whole this weekend. Okay. And that is making me feel so guilty. Nah, you can go tomorrow. I saved myself the trouble of cooking by ordering takeout. That's good. That's good. Very good. Save yourself the trouble. Save someone the trouble of doing something. Getting a ticket online will save you the trouble of waiting in line. Right. Sam, what are you doing for your free time? 이 문장이 취미가 뭐니와 비슷하게 사용할 수 있나요? Not for your free time, in your free time. And not what are you doing, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do in your free time? What do you do in your free time? My little son needs to take a walk too, same as a dog. Yeah, of course. You know, a lot of people would probably disagree, but pets and like very little children, not that different. Not that different. Not that different in terms of like needs. Like as far as like care and exercise, emotional support and things like that. As far as those go, pretty much the same. There are, yeah, it's, you know, I understand. Nobody really knows, or nobody really understands the full scope of the responsibility that involves taking care, raising dogs. And hell, I didn't either. When I first got my dog, I had no idea what kind of responsibilities were involved. But you know, once you learn that, and once you have people telling you about that, you got to actually learn, right? Or if you can't really keep up with those responsibilities, you got to actually give up give up the dog at least. Send them somewhere else. I saved myself the trouble of missing the train. Missing the train is not a trouble that you go through, because missing a train is the result of something, is just a result of something. So saving yourself the trouble of ing, you should always use it with things that you have to do. You know what I mean? Things that you would rather not do, but you have to do because of reasons. And those things you can save yourself the trouble of doing. Okay. So, for example, the reason I switched to these sort of microphones, whereas I used different microphones in the past. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the past, I used to use microphones that never appeared in frame. But the problem was whenever I used those microphones, I had to do some kind of post-processing with the audio later on to make them sound clearer and better. But I just got really tired of that. And so I started using these mics. They're a different kind of mics. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I switched the type of mics to save myself from the trouble of going through that process. You see, that process is something that I have to do, right? It's not just a result that happens. Missing the train is a little different. I hope that makes sense. I do golfing in my free time. Huh? You play golf in your free time? That's great. Are you good at it? I read a news article the other day, which was about an animal hoarder. They hoard 60 dogs in their 20평 villa. It was a horrific story. I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if it's... Yeah, that's one of those things I just can't understand. Are they mentally sick or something? If so, I really hope that they get the help they need. I mean, otherwise I have no idea why people actually do that. I'm guessing it's some kind of a disorder, right? Like a mental disorder? I mean, do they have like a cure for that? Do they have a treatment for that? Hey, Youngchang-nim. What's up? I haven't seen you in a while. Having good neighbors can determine the quality of your life in a way. Yes, not in a lot of ways. In so many different ways. Having good neighbors is a blessing. Is a true blessing. You have to be... And I think it's getting worse. It's getting harder, more difficult as time goes by to have good neighbors. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what it is, but it's just... I mean, if you have good neighbors, meaning if you have quiet neighbors who are... who are considerate and, they have a good sense of personal space and everything. If you have those neighbors, you should consider yourself very lucky. Really. Brody has a face that makes me want to give him Yeah. I saved myself from the trouble of getting detergent and fabric conditioner separately by getting laundry pots. Is it laundry pots or laundry... Oh, pots. Right. Exactly. This is a good example. You saved yourself from the trouble of getting detergent and fabric conditioner separately by getting laundry pots because they have both of them combined, right? So these days I've got into Culinary Class Wars on Netflix. Oh, okay. Culinary Class Wars. Is that the title? Culinary Class Wars? I guess, I'm assuming that's kind of like Hell's Kitchen? I don't know. I saved myself from the trouble of doom scrolling by deleting social media apps. Well, doom scrolling, again, that's a little bit different because that's not something that you have to do. That's something you do out of addiction. Right? So you do that you do it unknowingly. You do that without even realizing that you're doing it because you're just so used to it. So that doom scrolling is not something that you have to do. It's something that you find yourself doing, right? Something that you find yourself having a hard time getting out of. And so that doesn't really fit in well with that expression. But yeah, keep trying. I've worked as a firefighter. Really? That's so cool. A few days ago, I knew hiking app 산길쌤. I saved myself from the trouble of researching hiking trails by using a hike. Right. Good. So, exactly. Right. So, if Retinanim did not use the app, then he or she, do we have female firefighters? Oh, that would be so cool. Anyway, so if he did not use the app, he would have to do all the research himself, looking for the hiking trails. And that's a pain, right? It's a hassle. So he saved himself from the trouble of actually going through the process of looking for hiking trails and doing research by using the app. It's a good example. She didn't marry to save herself from the trouble of sharing her living space with herself. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Instagram is so addictive. Well, It's very carefully, meticulously, thoroughly designed to be addictive. So how can it not be? Even when you know that it's addictive, and even when you know you don't want to use it, like once you get your hands on it, you really can't stay away from it, right? That's kind of what it is. My mother saved herself from the trouble of getting a voice phishing. Well, again, so getting those voice phishing calls, it's not something that you do yourself. It's something that it's something that happens to you. So it doesn't really fit the context. Working out every day would save you from the trouble of losing your health. Again, losing your health is not something that you have to do. It's something that happens, right? So it doesn't really fit with the expression saving yourself the trouble of. You know what you can do? You can kind of switch the perspective and say, working out every day can save yourself from the trouble of, spending time at the hospital later in life. I guess you can say it like that. Very quiet. Your friend saved you, not myself. You should say, my friend saved me from the trouble of going out for lunch because she bought me the lunchbox on her way back to... Oh, okay. Okay, so this is a good example. Let me write this down. My friend got me a lunchbox on her way back to the office. My friend got me a lunchbox on her way back to the office and saved me the trouble of going out. Right. That saved me the trouble of going out for lunch, right. That's why wait, do I have it installed on my phone? For quite a long time, I didn't have Instagram. Oh, I have it installed. Yeah, but I don't think I even logged in. I don't even use Instagram. Although YouTube is honestly not that different. Once you start going through the feeds that come up, that show up on your feed, all those videos that show up on your feed, it's kind of hard to stay away from them. So they're effectively the same thing, just a different platform. But yeah, it's they're designed to be addictive. They're designed to keep you on their platform. So I saved myself from the trouble of getting late from the school by running fast. Again, arriving late at school is not something that you do. It's something that happens as a result of not, preparing earlier or not getting up early enough. So that doesn't really fit this expression. Oh, I'm glad I brought this up because a lot of you guys are having a hard time finding the proper context and a topic to use this expressions with. So I'm glad everybody's practicing right now. Okay, so saving yourself from the trouble of going grocery shopping. That's a good example. In person by buying groceries on... Okay, yeah, so, just ordering them online. Grocery shopping online. Right, it's me because the subject is your friend. The subject is not you. So I found myself scrolling down the app for a couple of hours even though there are no new stuff at all, and this algorithm keeps showing the posts that I would be interested in. I deleted it. You mean Instagram? She rarely cooks at home to save herself from the trouble of taking care of food waste. Okay, this is a good example, but there is one expression here that doesn't fit in naturally, or it doesn't sound very natural. Can anybody fix this? There's an important expression that we need to fix here. What is the awkward expression here? Do you see it? Right. So in this sentence here, the expression take care of doesn't sound right. It's not correct. Yes, that's right. We need to say deal with. Deal with, okay? She rarely cooks at home to save herself from the trouble of dealing with food waste. Deal with, not take care of. I save myself from the trouble of carrying a heavy phone by my hand while running, by buying an Apple Watch. Okay. So let's, you can kind of spread the information out like this. Hold on a second, let me... So I got an Apple Watch to save myself the trouble of having to take out my phone when I'm running. I feel like this is a better way to kind of deliver whatever it is that you're trying to say. Save myself the trouble of a long wait at the airport by checking in online. Okay. Yeah, taking out the food waste as well, but I think deal with is just a broader way to talk about it. Get bigger clothes. Staying in good shape could save me from the trouble of having to get bigger clothes. Again, aging is something that happens to you naturally. It's not something that you do. It's not something you do actively, right? It's something that just happens to you naturally. So there's nothing that you can do to save yourself from the trouble of aging. Aging is not a trouble that you have to go through. Sure. Oh, yes. Yeah. And when it comes to, this applies to all expressions and vocabularies. You should never rely on the translation. So I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, okay, so take care of and deal with. What are these expressions? What do they mean? How do we translate them respectively in Korean? You can't really rely on that sort of learning process. You have to always, you can't rely on the translation. You always have to look at the contexts in which they are used in. And so You just have to go through a lot of examples. ChatGPT saved me from the trouble of writing a report out of a blank canvas. Okay, sounds good. I saved myself the trouble of talking with native speakers in person by joining in live stream. Whoa, that's that is something that you should, no, that is all wrong. You should not do that. Talking with native speakers it shouldn't be a trouble. It shouldn't be considered as trouble. That's something you should be doing. That's good for you. What are you talking about? Actually, getting a smartwatch that can sync with your phone and give you and give you notifications, right? Can deliver the notifications from your phone to your watch, whether it's an Apple Watch or other types of smartwatches, is actually really good, because I find myself constantly taking out my phone because I don't know if you guys feel this, but I don't know what they're really called, but I get these false sensations of vibrations. Do you get those false sensations too? I get these false sensations that my phone is vibrating in my pocket, and I constantly have to take my phone out and check, only to find out that I had no notifications at all. And so it gets really frustrating, you know, like it happens maybe like once or twice a day, but it actually adds up. It actually adds up. It gets really frustrating after a time. And so when you think of that, actually getting a smartwatch can actually save you, you know, the stress that comes from that. That happens to me all the time. I always get these false signals. I can save myself trouble of taking a trip to the bank by using internet banking. Okay, so this is a good example, but it doesn't sound natural. Does anybody know why? Does anybody know how to fix this? Does anybody know how to say this better? So look at Christine Hahn's example. I can save myself the trouble of taking a trip to the bank by using internet banking. Who can say this better? Who can say it better? Chloe Honim, just trip? You're right. Show us. You're right. Chloe name. Show us. Of the trip to the bank? No. When you're talking about trip, you don't use trouble. You don't use the expression trouble. You just say this. Wait, what was the original? I can save myself the trip to the bank by using internet banking. Just say with internet banking. Whoops. I can save myself the trip to the bank with internet banking. So whenever you're talking about saving yourself from having to make the trip from between A and B, you don't need to use the expression trouble at all. You just say save myself the trip. I can save myself the trip. So you can, let me just give you another example. I think a long time ago I used a very similar example. Do you remember this? We had a very similar, I don't know if it was exactly this, but we had a very similar example in one of our examples long ago. I think it was one of our streams. Thanks for lending me the drill. It saved me a trip to the hardware store. Remember this? Yeah. So when you're talking about something saving you from the trouble of having to go, make a trip from between A and B, then you just go straight to the trip. You say save someone the trip. Okay. Platinim, that depends on the subject. It depends on the subject. So my friend saved myself a trip to the library. This is wrong. Because the subject, if you want to say myself, the subject should be you. The subject should be I. I saved myself a trip. But if your friend saved you, then you say, my friend saved me a trip. Okay, does that make sense? So this is wrong. I mean, you could say this and people will understand, but it's just doesn't sound very natural. Well, wake up name. If you think about it, even when you buy a car, you still have to commute. Even after you buy a car, you still have to commute, right? It's not gonna allow you not to commute, right? So the last part should be different, right? So instead of commuting to work, it should be himself the trouble of, taking public transportation or taking the subway, taking the bus, or booking a taxi ride every morning. Shaving off my hair saved me from the trouble of going to the hair salon. Oh yeah, I can totally relate to this. Actually, that's exactly why I always cut my own hair at home. I always cut my own hair. That's why it looks so dumb. Look at my hair. I look like a dumbass. Because I always cut my... Well, actually, you can't really see it very well. I always cut my hair at home because I absolutely hate going to the salon for some reason. And to save myself from, save myself the trip to the salon and save myself from having to sit there and, talk to someone that I don't even care about things that I'm not even curious about. I just cut my hair at home. Why do I hate it so much? It takes too much time. I have to make the trip. I have to sit there. I have to pretend like I'm interested in what the person has to say. I have to pretend that I'm a kind and nice and courteous person. And that's just too much trouble. For me, that's just way too much trouble. I look like a soldier. Wow, thank you. I actually like that. Feels nice. Looks like a baby. I look like a baby? You gotta be kidding. I want to have a dryer so I can save myself from the trouble of putting my clothes on the clothes rack. And oh, okay. You want a dryer? Okay. A clothes dryer to save yourself the trouble of having to use the laundry rack, the drying rack, right? I see. Yeah, that'll definitely improve your life, your quality of life. You're saying that because you can't really see it. You can't really see it. But you have to clean up after shaving anyway, right? Yeah, definitely. But it absolutely beats going to the salon, having to go to the salon all the time. So, yeah, don't you hate that? Like, and your hairdresser, they tend to talk to you, right? You gotta pretend like you're interested, and I don't know. That's just too much pain for me. And so a long time ago, there was this time when I actually tried going to the salon for a brief period of time. And when I went to the salon, I actually asked most of the questions because if I were gonna make conversation, at least I wanted to talk about something I was interested in. And so I would ask these really complex questions like, have you ever cut a black person's hair? And then I would try to get into that, so how is it different? Like, isn't it hard? It's like how do you cut it? Like, what's the difference? What does it feel like cutting a black person's hair? I was actually very curious about that. So those of you who need conversation topics with your hairdresser next time, ask them that. Ask them, hey, have you ever cut a black person's hair? A black person has ramen. Oh man, that actually makes sense. And I also asked him about on those holidays, right? Like Chuseok, when the families are expected to get together. Because I heard once that hairdressers often have to cut a lot of their relatives' hair. Have you heard this before? I used to know this. Oh, actually, one of my students back in the day was a hairdresser, and she was under so much stress every time the holidays came around, because she would have to, all of her relatives and family members would be they would actually be in a line waiting for her to do something with their hairs. And so that always stressed her out so much, but it's something that everyone expected her to do, and so she had to do that. And so I would, bring that up with my hairdresser, and I would, try to have her talk about that. But you liked my gypsy hairstyle? Was that a gypsy hairstyle? Maybe I should go back to that. Carpooling could save you from unnecessary fuel consumption. Well, yeah, I mean, just, save you money on fuel. Let me introduce you to my hairdresser who never ever talks except saying hi and goodbyes. Oh, I love those hairdressers. Like those hairdressers that they never talk to you and they just do their job. Oh, that's great. 최강님. That was a good move. You won't regret it. And the next best thing you can do is actually buying another book. I promise you, buying a second book feels better. And it actually helps you learn faster. That's right. Now, I don't believe in learning fast. I believe in improving. But there are always exceptions, and having more books actually helps you learn faster. I can promise you that. Yeah, my brother used to dye my parents' hair, haha, and I go to where he works as well. Oh, your brother is a hairdresser? Cool. Yeah. Yeah. The moment I heard that, it immediately, it made sense. I can see how relatives and like imagine if it kind of makes sense though, right? You can kind of, put yourself in their shoes and like imagine one of your relatives is a very skilled hairdresser. Then wouldn't you want to, have them do something for you like when the holidays come around? I mean, that's nice, right? You save some money. And I guess you can't really expect them to do that for like totally free. Maybe you got to give them a little something, but I can kind of see how that would happen. But for her, it was just too much. Actually, yes, you're right. That's complete exploitation. It's really not fair, but sometimes family members are the worst. There is so much becomes normalized because you're family. It's just it shouldn't happen, but it does. I get it 100%. That's why I change hair salons after a certain period of time when my pretending energy went to zero. Your pretending energy turns to zero. Then you switch to a different hair salon. I suppose one good way to avoid making small talk with your hairdresser is to wear a mask and tell them you're sick. Just say, "Oh, sorry, I'm really sick," and wear a mask. I don't know if that'll work though. Floppy님, in your case, you do most of the talking. Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Wow. 최강님, you sound like you're ready for a second book. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is, but the way you say that, it gives me a lot of confidence to say that you sound like you're ready for a second book. Yeah. Buying 5 books will save you from the trouble of finding any other English books out there. Right? Because you will have become so invested in it that it'll yeah, that's true. Artie Neem is actually making a lot of sense here. He's very smart, or she's very smart. So imagine yourself buying 5 of my books. Then you've already become financially so invested in that book, right? And so it kind of removes the need or the option to actually look for other books. And so it saves you the trouble of having to look for other books to buy, right? That's brilliant. I should hire you. You do your family's haircuts? Really? But I'm unqualified. But you're unqualified? Okay, well, hey, but you're qualified enough for them to let you do that to them, right? So, guess you're good enough? 어디 아프냐고 걱정하는데. I usually go to the barbershop near my place, just 12,001. Yeah, I guess, if I were to go to get my hair done, I would probably go to a barbershop, but I don't know. I'm just so used to doing it on my own, and I have a clipper at home, so I just do it. I just trim my own hair probably once a week before I yeah. Oh my gosh. Hairdressers have to trim all of their family and relatives' hair, like trimming all the weeds around the grave during his holidays. It's like parcho. 우리 남편이 쌤의 두 번째 북을 발견하고는 의아했어요. 왜 두 권이나 샀어? 라고 해서 그냥 내 맘이야 하고는 세 번째 북을 꽁꽁 숨겼어요. That's so funny. Hair dyeing is so it costs just 15,000 won for a dye. Really? That's pretty cheap, isn't it? You do you get your hair dyed, 영감님? YG? So is it like a different color, or are you just trying to cover the gray hair? I don't hate talking the first time meeting with someone, but I don't feel comfortably. It's hard for me that conversation. So I guess what you're saying is you don't mind talking to someone when you meet them for the first time, but when you don't feel comfortable with them, it's hard for you to continue making conversation. I think that's what you're talking about. 남편에게 그친 줄 알았지. Oh, you got a lot of gray hair? I used to have a lot of gray hair when I was in middle school. Like throughout I don't know why. It may have been because of stress, but and it's true when I think back to when I was in middle school, and especially in high school, I was just under so much stress because I think I mentioned this before. Like throughout high school, I spent a good amount of time waking up every morning and thinking about killing myself. And so I was under a lot of stress. And through those years, I had my hair was like almost completely white. And I honestly never thought it would, go back to its original. I mean, I never thought it would, they would go away. But I think after I moved up to college, they kind of just went away naturally. Well, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. YouTube didn't notify me. Damn. So, are we talking about save? No one can save me from the misery. Hey, Ikani, it's been a while. I haven't seen you online in quite some time. How long have we been doing this? When did we start the stream? I don't even know when we started the stream. No, we're just chatting. We're just chatting and making some notes along the way. Just because we have a relative who is a hairdresser, we shouldn't have her cut our hair, I think. Yeah, relatives and family members tend to take those kind of specialized skills for granted. Yeah. I mean, it's like once in a while is okay, I guess, but the person that I was talking about before, the student that I had who was a hairdresser, she said that every holiday she would like collect all her equipment, like a big part of her stuff, because she would have to. I think she traveled quite far to get together with her relatives, and a big part of her stuff that she took with her was actually a big bag of like hairdressing equipment. And so she knew what was coming every holiday. There's one kid with gray hairs when I was in middle school too. Middle school must be really tough time for some kids. For me, it was mostly because of my language barrier. I joined, I think I told this story before, but I joined the 6th grade. When I came back to Korea, I joined the 6th grade, and that's when I actually started learning to read Korean. I couldn't really read and write properly. That's when I started to learn reading and writing. And so I was way behind in terms of language. I was so behind the other students. And when you in Korea, when you go to middle school and high school, you're expected to do, you're expected to perform at a certain level in terms of your grades, right? Otherwise, you get beaten. And so throughout high school, I got beaten almost every day because my grades were so bad. And whenever they conducted quizzes and things like that, I never did well. And so, yeah, that was not fun, to say the least. Not very fun. Changyenim says, I can chat with anyone. Sure you can. Sure you can. Of course you can. There's a famous Chinese folk tale where a young lady's hair went white completely overnight due to her lover's betrayal. A movie titled 백발마녀전 is based on this story. I see. That actually reminds me of a Chinese movie called Shikshin. In the movie Shikshin, the main character's hair goes completely gray overnight because I think what was the story? I think he finds out that there was this girl who had a crush on him, but she died in some kind of accident or something because of him. I'm not really sure, but oh yeah, it's the one with Zhu Zongqi in it. Yeah. Yeah. You turned out to be a torpedo those by your... Well, my childhood was really very comfortable compared to a lot of other people. So I can't really say that I had a very harsh childhood. I think I had it better than most other people, I think. Maybe not most, but many others. So I have no complaints. It's just how things are for some people. Yeah, so... Trump or Harris? That is a tough one. I don't really know much about them to be able to make that decision. And Malfoy couldn't save himself from the trouble of having a hair loss by dyeing his hair too much. Malfoy from the Harry Potter series? I fixed my fishing gears over the weekend to go fishing whenever I have free time. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, hey, Johnny Sony, what's up? You like fishing? Do you go fishing often? Trouble of having hair loss. Again, hair loss is something that happens to you naturally. It's not something that you have to do, right? So, again, the expression doesn't really connect very well. I'm doing okay. Doing fairly all right. I'm here with you guys, so I'm doing good. And we had an excellent day today. It was really nice to be out with my family today, and so I'm doing well. How are you? I recently learned the words coconut and banana. Okay. But when you think about it, in Korean, they're also coconut and banana, aren't they? It has Bluetooth, and it can be connected in 3 different ways. Wireless. There are 2 wireless versions, Bluetooth and the dongle. It can also use a dongle, and it can be used with a direct connection with a cable. Invention of the washing machine saved a lot of housewives the trouble of washing clothes manually, with their bare hands, right? Yeah, I think it's better to say with their bare hands rather than manually. I finished a book called Foster and started drinking. Oh, and started a book called Drinking. I thought you said you finished a book called Foster and you started drinking after that. And I was thinking, why? Was she under so much stress after watching Foster? But okay, so you started reading Drinking. Okay. What kind of book is it? I got beat up when I was in middle school. Oof. Yeah, sorry to hear that. And high school student. Oh, back then punishment was... Oh, you mean you got beat up by the teachers? Yeah, me too. I got beaten so many times. Back then punishment was kind of normal way of educating. Yeah. In my school, it was like, yeah, on a daily basis. And, you know, when you were a student, I guess like I said, you're expected to perform at a certain level. And when you are behind, then you got beaten. That's kind of the way things were. When you didn't do well in terms of your grades, you got beaten. Oh, by the way, a hair loss related ad just popped up. What? Okay. Yeah. Back in elementary school. Yeah. There was this one time when I actually really deserved it. There was this one time when I was in the 6th grade, and my homeroom teacher actually beat me, and I really deserved it because I killed a dragonfly. And it wasn't an accident. I killed a dragonfly, and right then and there, the teacher just beat the shit out of me, and I deserved it. I totally deserved it. I don't know why I did that, but I did it. You know, I was young and stupid, you know. Maybe. Maybe I wanted to show off. I don't know. It is about alcoholism, eating disorder, and constant seeking of something to fill up the hole. To fill up the void. To fill up the emotional and mental void. People resort to alcoholism and food and anything else to fill up that void. The author died in her 40s from lung cancer. Yeah. Void is like 공원. These days, I feel like we do not have 4 seasons. Spring and autumn is gone too fast. We have just 2 seasons, which is way too humid and hot summer and freezing to death winter. Yeah, that's how it's how it's becoming. I think so. Like today, we had a fantastic day, right? And I feel like at best we'll get about a week of this sort of weather, and then, you know, before you know it, it's going to be winter. Well, okay, so let's think of it like this. If I had a kid and I just witnessed my kid deliberately, on purpose, in front of a lot of other kids, killing a dragonfly in almost like an execution style, I would be very upset. I would be very upset. I would probably not beat my kid because of that, but I would be very, very harsh at that very moment. I would find a way to really make the child realize how wrong he or she was by doing that. because that's not something that you want to encourage your child to do. That's not something that should be just shrugged off as, oh, well, that could happen. It should never be shrugged off like that. So, I mean, yeah, maybe it's not worthy of being, beaten, but it's not. Yeah, maybe it's not. Yeah. You should. I guess you should never really beat a child for any reason, but I feel like I deserved it. Oh, that's the second time someone mentioned my shirt. The sun is not crying. It just has this really odd expression. Like, I don't know. Can't really explain it. Kids need to learn not to mean to animals. 아이가 개미를 밟을 때 온갖 생각을 하게 됨. 내가 뭘 잘못했을까? When was the best time for you? When was the best time for me? Is that a question for me? Dragonfly is in danger of being extinct as far as I know. Actually, I think we had a span of several years, probably more than 10 years, where we saw almost no dragonflies throughout the year. But then lately, I don't know if you guys noticed, but lately I've been seeing a lot more dragonflies compared to like several years ago. I mean, when I first came to Korea, well, I was born in Korea, but then I spent some time, like 6 years in the US. And then when I came back to Korea in 94, I remember as a 6th grader at that age, I remember seeing like dragonflies all the time in the summer and in autumn. But then I don't exactly know when they started fading away, but we lost the dragonflies for many years, didn't we? I remember thinking, it's like, where are all the dragonflies? They must have all gone away because of the pollution or something. And then very lately, like I think last year or maybe this summer, I started seeing a lot of dragonflies again. When I was at school, they hit our face with fist. You mean they punch? In my school too. Ah, shit. I think I even remember the teacher's name. He was our PE teacher. We had a PE teacher who was an amateur boxer, which made it that much worse. We had a few, I think like 3 or 4 PE teachers. We had this one PE teacher who was an amateur boxer, and he actually went around and punched students' faces. Oh my gosh. And then we had this other teacher. I think he was a math teacher, and he used very, 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 very unusual methods to physically punish the students. And back then, nobody really questioned it. Nobody really, made a big deal out of it because it was just, everybody got beaten back then. He would use all these different strange methods. Like he would hit like students' foreheads with a battery. I don't know where he got that idea. And he would also use an ice hockey stick and hit right behind the knee, where your thigh connects with your lower part of your leg, like right behind the knee, where it bends. Like he would always hit that part of your leg with a hockey stick. My gosh. And it was almost like torture when I think about it now. Everybody hated him, of course. No one liked him. That's probably why he did that, though. He probably tortured kids like that because nobody liked him. Yeah, I think there was. I think using a hockey stick was kind of like a trend back then. Yeah, like you know, yeah, the between the tibia and the thigh. It's a new era for us who have known you as Muslim. Now I realize we haven't seen you with the red baseball cap for a while, and now you wear a pair of glasses and a headphone and not a red cap. Yeah, I should probably start wearing the red hats again. Hold on, so do I have a red hat? Maybe next time. The design on your shirt feels like a tarot card. Illustration having some meaning. It's just my feeling. Yeah, it does have a kind of a odd vibe to it. I don't really know what to think of it. The teacher was an English teacher. Wait. So, your English teacher did what? Your English teacher punched you? Oh my gosh. And now I think the reason why kids kill dragonflies and ants is because of our instinct. We all have ancestors hunt animals. I think it's partly out of curiosity, and it's partly trying to show off in front of other kids. And yeah, I think it's partly out of disrespect for nature. And I think there's a lot of different aspects to that. I think it's really. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I'm sure if any of you are a psychologist or a psychologist major, there's some kind of psychology behind that. I'm sure. Thanks, June. They're just, blue light protective glasses. We called Excalibur the teacher who punched us with some long wood stick. You called him Excalibur? I was usually hit with tanso stick. Oh, those like dual tanso stick that made a huge sound. I think those were designed to make make a really big sound to scare the kids. Drinking is better than appetite to my liking. Drinking is better than appetite to my liking. Oh, are you talking about the book? I feel so bad for those kids who were beaten. I'm just glad that's not how things are anymore. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just glad that's not how things are. Although I do feel like the teachers and the schools and the the people who are supposed to be experts in education, I really hope that they are given the proper level of trust and authority that they deserve, because without that, the parents get too involved in the education process, and I think that's just totally wrong. I'm sure there's many aspects to that as well, but it's just so sad whenever I hear cases where teachers are not respected and not trusted with their expertise and with their positions, simply because they want to keep the parents happy. That's just so wrong. That's just so wrong. Nice to get beaten growing up. We have all these people coming out saying that they've been beaten. I had some teachers who made their own bats wrapped with black tape. Whoa. Made their own beating bats wrapped with black tape to make them more terrifying, yeah? My gosh. My sociology teacher had your friend hit you as hard as he could, otherwise the teacher would... What? Dude, that is abuse on another level, isn't it? That's like crime. That's almost on a criminal level. My gosh. That is so wrong and oh my gosh. That is on another level, you guys, don't you think? Oh my gosh. Jesus. I used to use my nickname J Park, but I switched my YouTube account and changed my name. Hi. Oh, J Park. I think I don't know. We have a few. I've seen a few nicknames with that sort of name. Apparently now it's kind of the other way around. You mean the students are hitting the teachers? Well, yeah, I think it's true that, you know, students, a lot of students and parents are actually getting the better of teachers in a lot of ways. And it should never be either way on an extreme level. There should be a good balance, I think. It's just, but that's very hard, I think. Moderate amount of spanking is necessary in educating little human beings. I agree with that as well. I'm an old school when it comes to educating and disciplining youngsters. I do believe that there should be, on a certain level, there should be a very stern and strict punishing system. I don't know about physical punishment, but there should be. Schools need to be strict. Schools and teachers need to be strict. And they need to be trusted. Well, first of all, we have to have really well-educated teachers and educators. But then, along with that should be a good amount of trust for the educators to do their jobs, without the parents getting involved and interfering with the process. But again, it's always hard to have a good balance, right? When it comes to a system. Nowadays, many teachers are suffering from parents. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know where things started going wrong. I really don't know. But I really hope that things improve, which doesn't seem very likely. Does it? I mean, I'm really hoping that things improve, but things just seem to be getting worse. I don't know where things need to, or how we need to change things to turn things around. I'm slowly getting more used to them. Hopefully I can get more used to I thought I would be completely used to them by now, but I'm honestly not. I'm really curious. What do you usually do in your free time? I spend time with my family. I never feel like I have enough time with my family. So whenever I have some free time, I do my best. I try to spend time with my family, my wife and my dogs. That's what I do. It's the only thing that, yeah. It's my only way of relaxation. Unwinding. Sometimes suffer from imposter syndrome. What's an imposter syndrome? I'm not familiar with that. Could anybody explain to me what an imposter syndrome is? I mean, I guess I could just look it up, but I'm just kind of lazy. Could someone explain that to me? There were some weird teachers, I don't want to call them teacher anyway. They intentionally left their desk drawers open, implying that they were accepting illegal. What? Bribes, you mean? Bribes in the form of cash. Seriously? Oh my god. That is so corrupt. That is so corrupt. likely 들어간 문제 한 번만 다시 해주면 되나요? 안 그럴 것 같아. It doesn't seem very likely, does it? I guess what I was when I said likely, I said I really hope things improve, but it doesn't seem very likely. Does it? I think that's what I said. Is that what I said? Finally, I caught up on the work last week. I'm heading home now. Oh, wow. You've been working all this time? Like on a Sunday? And you're all caught up now and you're going home now. Wow. You must have some really important work. We all kind of know where things started to go wrong, but no one says it out loud. Oh, what? But no one says it out loud because those in power in the field of education still exert a lot of influence and don't allow for any criticism. So we all know where things started going wrong. Okay. I'm sure it's a complicated issue, but I'm really curious. I guess it's not simple enough to just phrase it in like a sentence, right? Whoops. I'm really hoping that things improve, but it doesn't seem very likely, does it? Impostor syndrome is a psychological experience characterized by persistent self-doubt regarding one's abilities and accomplishments. Ah. Okay. Persistent self-doubt regarding one's abilities and accomplishments. Okay. And what is it caused by? Is it like a form of self-inflicted gaslighting? That's kind of like what it sounds like. It's like a self-inflicted gaslighting. So what is the reason that one persistently doubts their self-worth and abilities and accomplishment? Why does that happen? Just a lack of self-esteem? I had a generous and kind English teacher in the first year of middle school. It was back in the 1980s. Because of him, I loved English more than ever. Too bad I couldn't recall his name. I see. Wow. That's not a lot of students feel that way about English. A lot of students hate English, right? But in your case, it's different. Must have been a really nice teacher you had. It's great. 1980s. It's a long time ago. It seems like you're discussing a serious topic about education. I like how it sounds when you're typing on your keyboard. Keyboard can sound... Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on keyboards and keyboard parts and customizing keyboards, and it's just a very it's a guilty pleasure that I have. Despite evident success or competence, they often attribute their achievements to luck or external factors rather than their own abilities. Self-inflicted gaslighting. They said the most psychological problems are from their family background, how they treated them when they were young. I guess, it's kind of a social thing. It's a social construct, isn't it? I think a a very toxic social construct that we have is that a lot of success is that we attribute a lot of success to luck and environment rather than hard work and effort, right? And yes, that could I agree that could be affecting the way people feel about their own success or their positions. It's I don't know. I don't know where things are moving. I think parents, teachers, and kids should learn how to treat for each other very thoroughly. Sometimes people don't know the definition of respect. Haha. Yeah, there's so much, like I said, it's very hypocritical. It's very hypocritical when I see so many people get so offended when someone badmouths the country, Korea. But then when you look at how people treat each other, they treat each other like shit. Not all of them, obviously. There are a lot of really nice people out there. But a lot of people treat each other like shit. And it's just so confusing to see that, actually. Hey, Kikini, what's up? It's been a while. You're just tuning into the stream. Today's my last day of part-time job. I'm feeling exciting and sentimental at the same time. That's great. How long have you had that job? How long were you at that part-time job? Was it long? Things got wrong when a group of so-called progressive teachers and school officials in the 90s took on powerful positions and influenced policymakers to issue new school regulations on chaebol. Wow, this is an angle that I was really not expecting. So this is about regulations on chaebol. Huh. Low self-esteem may feel like they are lacking in something, but not necessarily feel like they are frauds in the same way people with imposter syndrome do. Low self-esteem may feel like they are lacking in something, but not necessarily feel like they are frauds in the same way people with imposter syndrome do. That's a little confusing. Okay. When you're aiming for perfectionism. My boss asked me, cut up your work several times. So I was confused. What I should cut? But it turns out he meant caught up. Oh, okay. Caught up, yeah. I'm going to work tomorrow after 10 days off. You've had 10 days off? Wow, that's almost like a vacation. Almost like a vacation. 10 days off. You're really gonna struggle with post-vacation blues, post-holiday blues. You gotta really, you gotta really brace yourself. I think some parents hope the school teachers or private tutors take care of their children as babysitters. Syndrome is that you feel like you are a phony for your achievement. I think it's coming from the thoughts of you being not good enough all the time and not deserving good things. I was really into watching all Karen's videos for the last few days for some reason. Karen's videos? I think I need to stop it. It's so good to learn some phrasal verbs though. I mean, yeah, whatever that allows you to be exposed to a lot of actual real English is good. Oh, that's right. We have another week with a bunch of holidays in it, right? I think it's October 1st and October 3rd. They're both holidays. I've worked there for 3 months. It's quite short time, but 6 years ago, I had worked there almost 3 years. I've got used to it. I think, why do I feel like I've heard this story before? It sounds very familiar. Okay. I see. Electric personality? I'm not familiar with that one, but I would assume that's what it means, but I can't be sure because I'm not familiar with that expression. I haven't heard that many times. Electric personality? No. It does feel like, it may sound like someone who has a very who is, yeah, it's like very, very active. I will watch your stream while walking. Oh, thank you for that. Do you know Karen? No, I don't know Karen. When I was young, there weren't many good adults. Ooh, okay. So I lived thinking that I shouldn't do that. Even now, I still have the memories of how scared I was back then. Sorry to hear that you didn't have good role models around you. But I lived my life determined to become a good adult. That's great. That is great. And that is all you. Because there are plenty of people who just kind of, end up blending into their environment, like becoming the person that raised them, basically. That's why, kids become their parents, basically, right? Want to know this song being played as background music? Which one? The one now? The one that's playing now, or the one before this? Is this a carol? Why is there a carol in this playlist? Oh my gosh. Do you ever have a role model? Role model. I don't really think of role models all that much. I guess if I ever had a role model, it would be like a combination of different people, I think. In your daily life, do you use English more or Korean more? When it comes to using the language, especially in spoken, I speak mostly in Korean, but all the content that I consume online is all English, like more than 95% all English. The content that I consume online is more than 95% English. But when I'm speaking to people, of course I speak Korean more because I'm in Korea. You were in an all-girls high school and one of the horrible teachers hit a student's face with his fist. Not by his fist, with his fist. Not by his fist, with his fist. Of course, you can just say punch. You can say a horrible teacher punched a student's face and she was pushed the back wall in the class. So punched and she flew and hit the back wall in the classroom. I was just horrified watching that scene. Whew, it's kind of hard to believe that something like that could happen, right? Especially in an all-female high school. 쌤, 영어는 계속 반복하고 접하는 게 좋다고 하셨는데 그래도 기본적인 단어들은 외우고 반복하는 게 좋겠죠? 그 외우고 반복하는 과정을 영어를 접하면서 하는 게 좋다라는 거예요. 그러니까 단어가 쭉 모여있는 거를 이렇게 쭉 보면서 이거는 무슨 뜻, 이건 무슨 뜻, 이런 식의 암기 말고 실제로 영어를 접하면서 지금 이 단어는 뭐지? 이건 모르는 건데 그 단어를 접할 기회가 왔을 때 그거를 그때 찾아보는 거. 왜 그게 더 효과적일 수밖에 없냐면 그렇게 접하는 단어가 어떤 상황에서 누가 어떤 의도로 어떤 분위기 속에서 무슨 대화를 하면서 쓰인 단어인지를 보면서 찾아보는 거니까. Because context is everything. Context is so important. And that's why. Okay? I just watched a baseball game with my sister and cousin. Oh, that's great. Was there an important game? Oh man, enough with these Christmas songs. Okay, I'm out of music to play. I think we should end the stream. I've run out. She only is combining your role model, I guess. Well, yeah, like I said, I think my idea of role model is a combination of different people. It doesn't really matter who it is, right? It just makes a lot more sense to try to learn and try to mimic the best qualities of numerous different people. Why would you try to just stick to one person, right? When you can actually pick and choose all the qualities that you want to learn from different people, right? So the idea of role model is kind of, I don't know. It's just, I don't really know. I don't really worry about who my role model is. I don't really worry about whose role model, who you consider as a role model. I don't really worry about that. It doesn't really matter, right? What's your palate cleanser after having very greasy food? I actually always have them no matter what I have, though, like all the ice creams and snacks. I guess one common palate cleanser is like, for me, it's like a glass of Coke, cup of Coke, or just a really cold ice water. A coffee works well too. Coffee, like a cup of coffee. Oh yeah. When I'm talking to people, I talk. When I talk to Korean people, I talk in Korean. Why would I use English? Some MLB baseball player was characterized as having electric personality. I followed your advice and experienced English by doing what I like, which is watching MLB games. I'm a huge fan of baseball. Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Expose yourself to the language actually being used, instead of relying only on content that have been designed and put together for educational purposes. Rather than that, it's always better to expose yourself to the language being used in the real world. That goes for all languages, right? It's kind of like I always use the analogy of learning to drive, right? If you're learning to drive, you're not gonna only be you're gonna want to practice in the real world, out on the real actual road, rather than just driving in an area where it's designed for you to just practice driving. Nobody wants to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. One math teacher had his own corporal punishment process. He had a punishment process. He took off his watch first, unbuttoned his button down like two buttons, rolled up his sleeves and started it. It was so horrible. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. It's not really crazy to think that some of those teachers actually took pleasure in doing so. I can easily imagine a lot of those teachers taking pleasure in beating kids. And then so it kind of makes you wonder, like were they unfit as teachers? I'm wondering, when you just got back to Korea from the States, did you stiff with your tongue when you speak Korean? Because I did, and I found it interesting. What do you mean stiff with your tongue? I'm not exactly sure what that means. Is that an expression? Stiff with your tongue? I'm not really sure. What do you mean stiff with your tongue? Good palate cleanser? No doubt, kimchi. But then, kimchi is also it has a very strong taste, right? So after you have kimchi, you need another palate cleanser, right? So I think coffee or tea makes for best palate cleansers. What would be a difference between oily and greasy? It would be the difference in the use case. Depending on depending on what you're talking about. When they're talking about food, I think they usually say oily rather than greasy. Because for some reason, it feels like your wife and most of the people around you are fluent in English as you, Sam. Really? Why would you think that? Is it because I talk to my dogs in English? I only do that for you guys. I actually normally talk to my dogs in Korean because I don't want them to get confused. As I saw Harry Potter, I found maybe another context, but I couldn't figure it out. Would you explain it? Oh, wait. Oh, Sam, I've got a question. Last night I came across this expression, happen to. What I've known the context was like, 혹시 그녀 알아? Do you happen to know her? Yeah. Do you happen to know her? Sounds fine. 론이 다쳐서 병상에 누워있는데 당시 여자친구였던 발렌타인이 그 옆을 지키는 헤르미온을 보며 왜 여기 있냐고 화를 내는 장면이었어. 그 대사에서 I happen to be his girlfriend. Oh yeah. In this context, I happen to be his girlfriend. It's kind of like this. 너는 몰랐겠지만 알고 보면 내가 얘 이거거든. It's kind of like this. Does that make sense? 너는 몰랐겠지만 내가 알고 보면 얘 여자친구이거든. That's kind of how happen to is used. Remember, happen to does not always translate to a single expression in Korean. Happen to is usually referring to a coincidental condition, something that is coincidental. Yes, and I think I had a very similar use case in my book as well. She happens to be a good cook. 알고 보면은 요리 잘해. I feel like I'm a bilingual now. Not bilingual. Not bilingual. You're not fluent. That's how I feel actually. I mean, I can use both languages on a certain level, but I always tell you, and I'm not lying about this, I never really feel fluent in either language. It's really frustrating, actually. It's really, really frustrating. I know I pretend like I'm using both languages really well, but that's how I honestly feel. I don't feel fluent in either language. Bilingual. Yeah. I said that they kind of using the punishment as releasing their stress. Yeah, it's a very sick and disgusting way to cope with their own frustration in life. A palate cleanser is not only for your taste. It's not only about your taste buds, but it can be anything. It can be anything. One of my high school teachers pulled students' ears as hard as he can as a punishment. Oh gosh, I hate that. I absolutely hated that. It wasn't very painful. It wasn't very painful, really, but made us feel very humiliated. Physical punishment does damage your dignity. Yeah, it absolutely does. And that reminds me of the math teacher that I told you that used a battery to hit students' foreheads. He would find that little white part over here at the end of your nails, right? The inside of your nails, there's this little white part, and he would find that section and just press it really hard with his own thumbnails. Now that's straight up torture, man. That is straight up torture, and he would do that. I'm scared shit out of Pemin Rider. He always hit me. He almost hit me. Now I'm walking outdoors. Oh God, those motorcyclists, those delivery guys. Yeah, some of them are really, really relentless. They're just so relentless. They need to really be more careful. I've had so many encounters with those motorcycle delivery guys. Oh my gosh. Sam, next time you're not able to do live stream for quite a long time, could you leave a message on community page? Sure, I will. I actually thought about doing that, but then I never really planned those things, you know? Like what if I wanted to suddenly stream the next day? That could happen, right? So I wasn't really planning to take a long break. And even during my break, I didn't know when I would come back. I mean, I could suddenly feel like doing it the next day and whatnot. So that's one of the reasons I didn't actually give you guys any heads up about my break or anything. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, I should really get into the habit of doing that. I don't really. I keep you. I tend to keep you guys in suspense, don't I? I think I have an electric guitar. In your video sometimes tell it. In your videos sometimes tell. I think I. Oh, you think you've seen an electric guitar? Can you play guitar? I can play a little, not very well. I used to be really into it back when I was a student. Like back when I was in college, all I did was play the guitar. I never studied. I never cared about my grades. I don't even know. I don't even know how I graduated from university because I never studied. But I guess I did somehow. All I did was play the guitar, but I don't anymore. I guess I just sort of lost interest. I remember Sam said his wife's English is a lot better than she thinks it is. Yeah, that's what I said, and that's how I feel about it. No wonder you hate school. 선생님 소파에 있는 강아지 보면서 내려오고 싶어. How do you say this in English? You want to get down from the sofa? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. On Discord, yeah, I tend to share a lot more on Discord than I do on my channel. It's just, I don't know, it just feels, I don't know, it just feels more comfortable on Discord. I guess it's because of the number of subscribers. I know a lot of people have subscribed to my channel and just never watch my content, but just knowing that I have close to 1 million subscribers, it's kind of nerve-wracking, to share anything on my channel. So I do actually tend to share more personal stuff on Discord. How long have we been doing this? Like 2 hours? You're into Nirvana. That was back when I was in grade school. I was so into Nirvana when I was in grade school. But after I came back to Korea, after Kurt Cobain died and they sort of stopped making music. I just, Nirvana was, I think, the first music and band that I really liked. And throughout my grade school years, they were like, I only listened to Nirvana and I learned to play the guitar back then. And I only played Nirvana songs. Over 2 hours. It says 2 hours. Did you turn off the background music? Yeah, it started playing all these carols. And, I personally, I don't really like carols all that much. Let's see if I can find something else to play. Let's see. Okay, so this is just a collection of just random music. Let's see what it gives us. No, you know what? I think I'm gonna choose a genre. All right, let's see what this does. Probably over 2.5 hours. I wonder how long I can keep this up. 100 days left until Christmas. Only 100? Seems like it should be more than that. The river looks so fresh after the rainfall. I wish I shared the picture of it. I love Nirvana as well. Yeah, Nirvana live streaming club. I've seen some streamers stream over like 6 or 7 hours. Like professional streamers that don't really stick to any particular topic or don't really have a specific agenda to their streams. A lot of them like just stream for like 6 or 7 hours a day, and they do that every day. It's kind of nuts. I'm probably too old for that, but when I was in high school, I so liked Kurt Cobain, so I joined the band. My position was drum. Yeah. Nirvana, they were just very different as a band, I think. Right. I love Christmas, but I have a kind of mixed feeling this year. Has also almost done. Time flies. Kind of mixed feeling this year. Has also almost done. Time flies. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I think we've been streaming a little too long tonight. I think I'm going to take a break now. Maybe get something to eat. What day is it? Is it Sunday? Okay. All right. So hopefully we can get back to our regular videos and oh wait, next week this next week is going to be a pretty busy week for me because I have like 2 dentist appointments, and I got they're going to be finishing up the construction and the interior construction in my new office, and so I gotta go and finish up with that. And also I'm going for an interview. I'm going to do an interview for another YouTube channel on the 25th. And I have quite a few things happening next week. So I don't know exactly how many times I'll be streaming or putting up videos, but we'll see. All right. Okay. Starving. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's go. Let's go get something to eat. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for spending time with me. I hope I can see you all again very soon in a future live stream or in a future lesson video. Have a great rest of your night and take care. All right, drink more.